Hello, and welcome back to Miedo Gaming. I recently made a video. In fact, I don't even think it released yet. I think it's going to release here in a couple hours, where I discussed the events for this weekend. Many of the shard pulling events. I went through the Sweetheart's Path event. I took a look at many of the progressive chances. Um, Even had the down here the summon pool. I discussed this. So I looked at a lot of these events coming up for this weekend. Also touched upon the the upcoming champ training tournament. Really looked at all of the events coming up this weekend, and I discussed the events and my participation level in them, which was going to be minimal. The reason being is I'm already done with the Naldor Fusion. I already have her at 100 out of 100 pieces without getting any from the path. So, because I had won the previous champ training event and I came in second for the champ chase. So I really didn't need to go for any of the fragments here. Um, and so just kind of looking at a lot of events, I was underwhelmed by them. I didn't really feel like anything going on right now was really going to alter my account all that much. And I still feel that way. But I do want to say that I realized something. When I was thinking about the content that I have on my channel and what I discuss and what I'm looking at, I realized I never talk about shards. I never pull any shards. And it's not that I'm not pulling shards. I'm doing it. I'm just not recording myself do it. You know, I got Cecilia after I started this channel. It's been a few days now, but I got her after I started this channel. Nobody saw it because I didn't record myself pulling any shards. You know, I just get on and I discuss whatever topic I wanted to discuss, and then I stop the recording and I go on and pull all my shards and do all my stuff that I'm doing. And so I realized I don't have any content regarding actual shard pulls. And with all of the events happening this weekend, this seems like the perfect time to actually go ahead and get involved and do it. So I'm actually going back on my previous recording that I'm not going to cancel. It hasn't released yet, and I'm not going to cancel. I'm still going to let it go out. Because my honest feeling was I was underwhelmed by the events this weekend. I wasn't too excited about a lot of it. But just thinking about it, I'm thinking, this actually is a good time to pull some shards. So I went out and I got some. You know, if you look at the video, you see I had, I don't know, I had a few shards here, but I didn't have 12. I had some shards here. I had like 20 something. I went and grabbed a few more sacred shards. Really just for this video. And so I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to pull some shards here. I'm going to take a shot at some of these champs. I'm even going to discuss. I don't know if these are the two champs I'm going to have, but I'm going to discuss what the different champs, what they're going to do from my account, and then I'll make my final choice. Like if we look here, I kind of did for these three, I picked three that I liked the most, and then I just picked different ones for each one, right? So that way, if I did pull any shards this weekend by accident or just for the hell of it, I would have a shot at whichever champs are going to be the most useful. So you can see the three that I think are going to be the most useful for me. But now I'm going to discuss because I think I'm for that. I'm going to pull the voids, but for these three, I'm just going to pull sacreds. I don't think I'm going to do ancients. Um, we'll see how things go, but I don't think that's the direction I'm going to go in. So with that, I'm only going to be focused on two of these champs, and so I'm going to have to redo this selection to see, if I want to include Rhodos in here or not. But that's my plan for this video. So let's go ahead and let's get started. And I should also point out, with this, I actually will make my way through the Sweethearts event. I wasn't 100% sold on getting these Naldua's soul, 5-star soul. But I guess I'm pulling shards now. I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna do it. So I might as well push all the way. Now this does not mean that I won't just go in here and where is it? Somewhere in here. I won't just go in here and just buy this to finish it off, right? I may just do that. I don't think I'm gonna pull all of my shards. I'm probably not gonna pull enough shards to make it through all the event. I might, but I doubt it. And so once I get to the end, I might just, drop 30 bucks for the last 20,000 or something like that. We'll see how that goes. But that's the general idea of what will be happening here. So I'm very excited for my very first shard pulling video. I never even thought about making a shard pulling video. I don't know why I never thought about it doing it. I kind of wish I would have had on recording myself getting Cecilia. That was like that was the most exciting moment of my time in Raid Shadow Legends. To be got a ton of mythicals. Um, I'm saying a ton just because I haven't even been playing a year yet, so I have 8 mythicals. That to me, I think that's a lot for less than a year. I don't know. Correct me if I'm wrong, but that was exciting too, especially that first 4 and 60 pulls and get 4 mythicals and 60 pulls seems like insane value now. Now I've been playing longer and went through a couple more events. Um, so I was really excited about that, but I didn't know too much about the game at the time. Now that I know a bit more, I the Cecilia pull actually excited me even more than that did, I think. All right, so we're gonna go in here. We're gonna remove these champs, and I think all of these champs would be helpful for me. Less so Esme and I don't even know her name actually. Oh, I cannot open the champs from this screen. That's awful. I think her name is Oelia or something like that. I know she's from the Sylvan Watchers. So let's go ahead and let's take a look at the Sylvan Watchers. I'm pretty sure I'm not going to go for her because my Sylvan Watchers is actually a pretty decent faction on my account. So I need her less, but I'm kind of curious what she does. She decreases speed. Alton with this. Okay, that's another champ. Decreases speed. Another healer, of course. I feel like the entire Sylvan Watcher faction is just nothing but healers. Um, okay, and turn meter gain. That's cool. More heals. That's cool, but eh, honestly, I feel pretty good about the champs I have here, and you can see a ton of them already have heals or shields or revives or something along those lines, right? With his Padraig, Lady of Vareth, Glycade, Elva, King Galobar's got a Galkobar, he has a heal. I'm not too interested in additional heals within the Sylvan Watchers. Sure, Aurelia is phenomenal and amazing. I'm just not that interested in more heals at the moment. When we look at Demon Spawn, I could use the help here in Demon Spawn. And who was it that was up for grabs actually? Sissia. I could use the help here to be honest, but it's lower priority than the other factions. HP burn makes sense. I mean, just judging by how she looks. I would have been kind of upset if she had no HP burns in her kit. Attack 3 times, HP burn. AoE, places weaken, decrease defense. Okay. Activates HP burn. Okay. And this is another opportunity to place an HP burn on this champion, then attacks all enemies. Okay. Increase the speed and damage inflicted for each enemy under HP burn. Interesting. Okay, I mean, interesting champion would actually help me out quite a bit, I think. This faction isn't all that great, so having a damage dealer on my team with some additional HP burns, I think right now the only HP burner champ I have is Drexstar on his A1, I believe. Yeah, so a single target. Dracos does not have an HP burn, I'm pretty sure. No, he has no HP burns. So I think, a damage dealer with additional utility through HP burns and things like that would actually be helpful for this faction. But it's not the faction that I need the most help in at the moment. It's double back. I think there's one more that is a no from me, and I want to see who that was. Esme. Yeah. Similar reason. Barbarian's kind of a stacked faction for me. I actually do think Esme does some cool stuff with the weekends and the block buffs. Um, increased accuracy. Yeah, I'm more care about the increased speed, but increased accuracy is nice, particularly in a faction when you have Armands. It's just cool account. Looks amazing. So I think and speed in all battles, all this stuff is great. I just don't really need the help in barbarians. I'm kind of happier. I'd much rather have like an Odin or something like that. If I was going to go all out for a barbarian, that's what I would want. Maybe a Thor, but definitely an Odin. So we can rule those three out just by virtue of those factions not really needing the help that much. Now, when we look at the rest of these, actually, I always forget her name. Ancora, I believe her name is. She's one of my most wanted when we think about is it Knights Revenant? I believe is where she, yes, Knights. I always get Knights Revenant and Undead. You'll hear me say that in my my other video where I said I'm not going to pull any shards uh, as well. I always get those two confused. But she's one of my most wanted in Knights Revenant. Rhodos is my most wanted in um, Undead. And then Moto is also a good champ. He's a damage dealer. I believe we'll go look at his kit here in a second, but I believe he focuses on dealing damage. And he's in the Ogre tribe. So I need help in all three of those factions. Particularly Knights Revenant and Ogre tribe. Though in Knights Revenant I probably need more help just thinking about damage than revives. But I still really like Ancora. So let's go ahead and take a look at those three champs here, and then we're going to make our decision on which two I should focus on. So when we look at my Ogre tribe, they're fun. I say it all the time. I have a lot of fun using this group of characters, as I call them. And I have Bellower as well, and I have him actually in the stun set. So I have a lot of fun with this group because there's like stuns everywhere. Biggin has like an AoE stun. Kraz has a stun on his A1. I think Ignatius also has a really low chance. Yeah, really 25% chance of placing a stun on his A1 as well. So you always have those chances. And Bellower in a stun set. So I have a lot of fun with this team. Ugo's the only one that doesn't have any sort of stun for me at all when I'm doing my faction wars. But I am stuck on the boss right now, and I'm working my way through how to approach that. I don't really have a healer. Ugo has a revive, although to be honest, I think her revive sucks because you have to wait for the entire team to die first. So I built up Woosgar, and I'll be trying to make him my healer here soon. But I could definitely use another champ. Could really use the help quite a bit. I'm not 100% sold on this ragtag group's ability to beat the boss stage. And once I get to Faction Wars Hard, this will be, awful. So I could use the help for sure. So let's go through his kit real quick and see what kind of help he will bring. Again, I think he's mostly just a damage dealer and he's an attack champ, so that's probably the case. Let's go ahead and take a look. Decreased defense. It's a pretty big decreased defense at 60%, with a 50% chance of placing it. And AoE's done. I mean, he just fits. He just fits. He fits exactly what I'm doing with the Oaken tribes. Of course, he's got an AoE stun. That's hilarious to me. Okay, I like this guy. I like this guy already. He fits right in with the rest of my team. Got another AoE. Ignores shields. That's great. Stun skin is not something I'm too worried about, honestly. I mean, damage increases. I was thinking more like, okay, it hits under stone skin. This actually increases damage. So he might be able to like even if he doesn't kill the champ, he might be able to one hit his way under the stone skin, just completely obliterate the stone skin, and then get an extra turn just to attack after that and try to stun them. And this is an AoE. That's actually extremely useful. I don't know how good it is. I've never seen this guy in action. I don't ever hear anybody talk about him. So I imagine he's not one hitting away people's stone skin. Probably no matter how much you build up his attack, he's not just immediately removing stone skin. Otherwise, I would hear his name a lot more. But I still think that's interesting. Now, at my level, I'm new, so I'm not in the end game or anything like that. So at my level, he might be able to one shot somebody's stone skin off. And open up some opportunities there. Okay, I really like that. That's not so useful in Faction Wars, which is the focus of this account and sort of my focus in the game at the moment. But this will come in handy as soon as I'm done with Faction Wars. And I like this quite a bit. If Esme is on the same team, which will probably never happen because I don't have Esme, always place an extra hit. That's cool. Places another stun just for killing someone. So even if you kill someone on his A1 or A2, I mean, or A3, still get a stun. This guy's fitting right in. Okay, okay. So I don't ever hear about this guy. So how good is he in practice versus just the sound of his kit? I don't know, but I do like what I'm reading about his kit. Um, this is going to be more difficult. So Rhodos and Ikora I'm a bit more familiar with because I've been looking at their kits quite a bit, and they're both champs that I really, really want. So this does make things a bit more difficult. Oof. Do like that destroy of the target's max HP. 60% of the target's defense. That's also really nice. My undead horde faction needs help as well, but not nearly as much. Yeah, not near. This is way better than my Ogre tribes or my Knights Revenant. So even though I really want Rhodos, I think he might be the odd man out here. Oof. And it's crazy because he's probably better than both of the other two champs that I'm thinking about. But faction-wise, I could use the help. I actually think Harvest Jack is going to be getting the buffs soon, I heard, but who knows when. Yeah, he might be the odd man out because, this faction, I'm suffering here. I have some epics. I'm bringing some of my epics up. But ultimately, I don't want a team full of epics. Can I complete the faction wars normal with a team of epics? Sure, people do it all the time. Just gotta throw some great gear on them. I just don't want to. Right? Like that doesn't excite me to have a team of epics. So that's not what I would like to bring to the table with or with any of my factions. But right now, and Drang is fine. So I would have one legendary, but Bystoph, oh my gosh, he sucks. He's awful. I'm currently working on Thea in the Doom Tower, but from my understanding, she's awful too. Thanks. AoE. Perfect. Yeah. I mean, she just seems like just a champ. She doesn't seem like anything special. Um, People make it sound like she's like one of the worst champs in the game. So I don't know. I don't know what that means, right? Maybe she's just disappointing because of how meh she is, or she's really that bad. But Ancora is someone I want. Venalisha I wanted more as my team reviver, but Ancora is actually my runner-up for most wanted champ in this faction after Venalisha. And of course, you only need one because they're both revivers. Though this one if I understand this correctly, this is a single target reviver, not full team reviver. But I still would like to have her on my faction. I need help in this faction. I think she'll come in handy for that. Use all debuffs, adds a shield. I think that's extremely helpful. Now I can ignore any of that because I don't have Narcissus. Fills turn meters as well. That's all good. I do kind of wish he had a actual heal instead of just a shield. Uh, it's so rough because this is the faction I need help on the absolute most. But I just don't see. I like Ancora. She's my second most wanted legendary in this faction that I can pull from shards. I mean, there's some other ones that I actually want more, but I really wanted a legendary reviver. I do have a Rector Drath who's great. He's doing fine. But I was hoping for to upgrade that slot. I just feel like honestly, when I'm thinking about faction wars and things, Ancora doesn't. She's not going to. She'll help me, but she's not going to really push me over the top to complete faction wars. So I'm less high on her than I am on Rhodos. Rhodos is just a much better champ, but it's just my undead faction is just better than my Knights Revenant faction. So it's a funny thing here. I prefer Rhodos over Ancora, but I prefer beefing up my Knights Revenant faction more so than my Undead faction. So I'll have to just, what I might do is I might just do a half and half. Maybe I'll make a full few pulls with one and then a few pulls with another. Or maybe I'll just leave like this because it's already set up. Yeah, I'll think about it. First, let's go ahead and pull these void shards and let's see what we get. All right, 20 minutes into the video, we're finally starting the pulls. Let's see what we get here. Probably nothing, but whatever. We're just gonna go for it anyways. So we got a Eurogrim, I believe is a healer, Gum, and a Prundar. All right. Not a huge fan of any of those, although, I did need some healing in the Ogren tribe. So Eurogrim actually is helpful for that. However, I've already brought up, was it Woosgar? I've already brought someone up, so it's a little late to try to build him. All right, so nothing impressive there, although I'm sure we got a decent amount of points towards the duel's soul. Go ahead and grab some of this. All right, now we're going to move on to Sacred Shard pulls. Ancora or Rhodos? Ancora or Rhodos? Eesh, that's difficult. I don't know. Definitely Mordo, though. My Knights Revenant faction is so awful, but I already have Rector Drath. So it kind of feels wasteful if I would get an Ancora, because that's not who's going to be the most helpful. Whereas Rhodos would just be helpful just in general. I'm going to stick with this, though. Just going to go ahead and I'm going to stick with that. It's not like we're going to get any of these champs anyways. So I don't think I need to spend too much time trying to think it through. So we got an allure. Have like a million allures. It's a very alluring champ, so I get a lot of them. Like Gurna, had a few of her. I wonder if I could actually bring her up another level. Elsinia. She was actually one of my higher high elves, just because of the simple fact I got so many of her early on. And so I was able to like +4 her or +3 or whatever it was pretty quickly. And so before I had any like legendaries or anything like that, well, I always had Eleanor. Uh, Eleanor, that's not right. How do you say her name? Eleanor. Eleanor. I've always had Eleanor, but outside of that, yeah, I didn't have any other legendaries. So Sydney was actually one of my first champs that I had built in high elves. Pretty cool. I do like this. Removing any block do. Okay, never mind. That's not as great as I thought it was. I thought it was a buff removal. I do remember this. That was useful for my squad. That's cool. I mean, yeah, I have quite a few of her already, but I'm just, going down memory lane of all the good times I've had with this Elsinia. Oh, I did get a legendary with the Shadowkin. All right. Gamurin. I don't actually know too much about him. My Shadowkin is stacked. So I did take some time to look through the Shadowkin. Steel buffs, that's cool. AoE steel buff, I like that. Applies a buff spread effect, so taking all buffs from this champ and placing them on all allies. I like that. There's some cool stuff here. Can target dead or living enemies. Okay, the target is dead. Places blood. Okay, that's interesting. Oh. Damage to 20% of the target enemy's max HP. I do like that. Okay, this is interesting. The boss minion. Go 20% of this champion's max HP. Critical. Okay. I like this. So he's doing max enemy max HP, but for bosses, it could also be just 20% of his own max HP, I guess. Then there's also this heal. I like this. This is actually kind of cool. I mean, my Shadowkin is stacked, so, and he's got to revive because, why not? I did get Yukimasa, so I don't know if how enthused I am about the revive. But just in general, this is actually kind of a cool kit. It's interesting. I don't know what he's reviewed at. Oh my gosh, not very good. It does sound like it sounds like an interesting kit. I guess it's better in theory than it is in practice, but it sounds interesting, right? You're stealing buffs and you're spreading it across your team. Um, you're able to do this max HP damage to anyone really, but like an entire wave or to the boss as long as you kill one person. And then if you do it while they're alive, then you can heal your team. So you could kind of choose like, do I want to do damage to the team if one of the enemies are dead, or do I want to heal my allies? So you get a choice. I like the kit. I like the sound of it. Apparently, it's better in theory than it is in practice from my reading on, on these ratings. I feel like, no, doesn't matter how good you might think it sounds, it's actually quite awful. Okay, that's interesting. Um, how many did I pull so far? Four? Let's go again. This is my fifth pull. I do want to check and see where I'm at in the grand scheme of things. Oh, no, thanks. 25,000. All right. So let's just go ahead and grab a lot of this stuff. This feels like such a waste. That's just 4,000 just gone. Now here, this is interesting. This is very, very interesting. Um, how do I want to play this? I could go for this legendary skill tome, which is always useful. A ton of champs I need to book. I could go for this. I don't, my relics are not the best. I could really use more relics, and this would help me take a shot at a relic, right? But it's not a guarantee. Like I could get these 50, and I could even have 50 more um, mythical relic mats, and then just end up with like a common relic or something like that, right? So it's kind of I would like to go for it, but I have so many champs I need to book that honestly, this is probably better for my account and where I'm currently at. I think if I was more end game and I had a bunch of my champs booked, I could go for something like this. While it's enticing, while I would really like to get some mythical relics on my account, there's just no guarantee of it. So I think I'm going to go with the guarantee because my account is still young enough that that matters. All right, so we pulled 5 sacred shards. How many more should I pull here? So if I was to pull 3, where would that put me? 13 and a half, it's about 18, 19. I'd be far short of this, but I do think, I can always go and drop some additional cash just for these, this last bit here. One thing that I also want to keep in mind is that there's still some more time left. That's who my red dot was. There's still some more time left before this is over. So I have a day and 16 hours. So I don't need to fully complete this right now, but I do think I'm going to pull a few more sacred shards just for the hell of it. I'm at 31. I don't necessarily need to be at 31. So I think I'm going to do like 2 or 3 more, get it back into the 20s. I don't remember exactly how many I had previously, but I know I was in the 20s. So let's go ahead and pull a few more. Unlikely to get much of anything here. Many epics. Caden, I already have it like +4, so this is going to be essentially just food. And, ooh, another Geomancer. I don't know if I have Geomancer at +4, and maybe you could use multiple Geomancers. So this would be nice. He's got like HP burn for like the full team, I believe. So removing the turn meter, placing HP burn, but it looks like single target HP burn. And also a buff stripper, but single target, and then an AoE. He has some uses. My Dwarves faction is pretty stacked, so I haven't really used him too much recently, but he was part of my Faction Wars team earlier on my account. And I enjoyed him quite a bit when he was. I like him as a champ. Right now we're at 28 Sacred Shards. I might stop there. Maybe I pull these last 2 voids again for the hell of it. For the video, right? For the views, all 2 or 3 of you that watch. So I think this is probably going to be it for my polls. And then for the rest of the, man, so many pop-ups. For the rest of this, I think what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to focus on um, dungeon diving or whatever it's called now. I can't remember what it's called. Gear hunters. So I'll focus on that for now and see how far along I get. And as I get to the end, to be perfectly honest, I still don't think I'm going to pull any shards. I think what I would very likely end up doing is just make some of these quick purchases. I like to keep my shards for um, 2x's. I don't really like even with these 15x on champs and things. I'm not a huge fan of it, to be honest with you. Um, because it doesn't matter if I don't get any legendary at all. It doesn't matter, even though I did get legendary, and it was a new legendary too. So that's always cool. I do like getting new legendary, so that was great. But overall, I'm not a huge fan of these progressive chances. I'd much rather like a 2x. And so that's usually when I'll jump in and I'll start using all my shards on whatever the 2x is. So I prefer using them there. But I did want to at least make one video for shard pulls. And of course, when we do have a 2x chance for legendaries, or just 2x overall, if it's 2x mythical for primals, I'm definitely taking advantage of that. I'm going to come in with 200 shards or whatever and just like pull like crazy for them. So I am going to make videos for that in the future, but probably not too many times for these progressive chances. This just seemed like a great time to do my first shard pulling video, and take advantage of it and push my way through the Sweethearts Path event that I wasn't 100% sold on taking advantage of, but might as well now. We'll see how that goes overall. Again, I'm very, very likely just to purchase the points instead of using more shards, but we'll see. All right, thanks for joining me on my first ever shard pulling video. It was a lot of fun. I did get a brand new legendary. I don't know how often I'll use him, but I do like getting new champs added to my account regardless. So thanks for joining me and take care.